Hello, you stonkers and stonkettes. How are you doing? Today I'm going to talk about a subject that I can't pronounce. The word that I can't pronounce. And the word is this. So I'm going to use a code word. And I'm going to call it the big S. Okay? The big S. Just so you know. We'll talk about it on the other side. So you know, a while ago, I was telling you what the emissaries were saying about people being having their bodies invaded, taken over, so that they do things that aren't in their plan. Okay, like taking somebody else's living capacity away from them. There you are. That's a nice way to say it, isn't it? So I was talking to my son the other night, and I was telling him about that, about how people can be taken off their plan when they leave the body and they're overtaken by something else. And so they can lose the plan or not follow the plan, and that causes problems because the plans are so intricately co-joined that if somebody drops out of the plan, it's like the butterfly effect. It can affect a lot of other plans because they're inextricably linked. And he asked me, people who do the big S and take their own living capacity from themselves, the big S, is that in the plan or not? Are they doing it because it's a plan, or are they breaking the plan? I thought that's really interesting. Really interesting. So I want to talk to the emissaries about that. Because what have we got at the moment? We've got a very, very high incidence of that happening. And also we've got governments which are pushing the big S, voluntary S. Yeah? And so I said to them, first of all, okay, when people get to that stage where they want to do the big S, is it because they've been taken over? Are they what you might call demonized or whatever? And they said, in many cases, yes. Not always, but in many cases, yes. Because, I was thinking about the lots of religions say that the big S is a mortal sin. It's a mortal sin and you go to purgatory and blah, 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 and you can't get to heaven because of it. Yeah. So I was thinking about that, is there something in that? Because normally there's something behind these kind of ideas. The emissary said, yes, many times people are taken over and they leave their body. Okay, they become disconnected from the body. And then that body does the big S, brings things to an end. And they said, so what happens is because the person's left the body and the body does that, the plan is scuppered, right? The plan that they had is scuppered, and it causes lots of problems. Certainly for those around them who who'd bought into that plan, who had their plan linked with that plan. But the emissary said something which was interesting. They said, don't think of terms in terms of demons or demonization. They said, because people can be taken over by a program, right? You hear such a lot about AI, but by a program, by programming. And the programming of an idea, the programming of propaganda, basically. That's what they said. So lots of times, but people can be kind of controlled to do this. And they said, for that reason, the governments are selling propaganda now, which says, if you want to help the planet, and if you're not feeling so good, why don't you do the voluntary S? Right? And what they're saying is that is a program that they're putting into people that is getting people to kind of detach themselves from the plan and choose the big S, the voluntary S, and ruin the plan. They said the reason that they're doing that, the baddies, is because they know that every plan that is stopped, scuppered, really causes chaos in the fabric of the whole plan. And that's what they want to do. They want to cause chaos. They want as many people as possible to elect for a voluntary big S, because and program them into it. And really, you know, when you talk to people, now I've worked with people who have been super depressed and thinking about the big S and thinking about doing the big S, or have tried to do the big S a few times. And the people who truly, truly, truly are in that place, they're not there. I've talked to bodies that have no spirit inside of them. The people are not there. I know that. They're out of body. They've left. And what's left, what I'm communicating with, has absolutely no interest in anything that I'm saying. Has no reaction. Couldn't give a shit. Now, could we say that I was talking to demons? Maybe. Maybe. Or the possessed? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what that means, but I know that the person is not there. They're not there. And I look into the eyes and they're not there. Okay? Well, the same with this situation, by programming people into believing that they are not, that there's more worth in them not being here than being here. When you talk to people who are propagandized, I don't even know if that's a word. Propagandized. When you talk to them, they're not there. They are not there. They are repeating these lines that they've been given. They're repeating these programs. They're not there. When you try to reach them, you can't. There's nobody there. And I think that's what we might call possession. Some people might say that, you know, it's AI possession because they've been possessed by a program. Who knows? Maybe. Some people might say they've been possessed by a demonic idea. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's all the same thing. But I know that some people aren't there when I talk to them. They are not there. And they repeat like robots. Have you had that? Where people are just repeating like robots. And the only thing is, if you try, because it's very easy to argue with them. It's very easy to break their arguments into pieces because they're of no substance. They get really, really angry. Very angry. And that's just that it's almost like this programmed knee-jerk effect. If somebody questions your beliefs, get angry with them. Call them names. And it's a real shame. I believe in many ways, if we want to call it, they're possessed. They've been possessed, but being possessed by an idea, been possessed by a program, been possessed by propaganda. So it's really interesting to know that the baddies would like lots of people to do that. And boy, are they pushing it. You know, are you neurodivergent? Is life getting you down? Hey, come here and we'll sort it out for you. The big S, the big voluntary S. What's your experience of that? Are you aware of, have you had people in your life who've done the big S and maybe successfully, or have been extremely depressed? How have you found it when you talk to them? Do you feel that they're not there? And also with people who are what you would call asleep, but the extremes, like when I hear these girls that have got the blue hair and they're talking about like stuff, complaining about us basically. I think that, where's the real person? All I'm hearing is this horrible repetition of the same stuff. It's bizarre, isn't it? So maybe that's what possession's all about. Maybe it's just possession of an idea, being possessed by an idea or a program that makes you break your plan. So whatever happens, by the way, the emissary said, even though they're wanting to do that, yes, it causes problems with the plan. And they said what happens is a new plan has to be put in place, and sometimes that can take time. So they said the only thing it does is delays the inevitable. It maybe makes the big plan have to be dragged out a little bit more whilst new things are put in place. But they said also there are other ways, like, have you heard of walk-ins? You know, when you go, holy cow, that person's completely changed. They've had a walk-in. And they were referring to that, saying people can, plans can be adjusted in this life. You know, and it's something that we do on the other side, and we adjust it and then we change, and therefore it can always be put right. You know, don't think that just because they want to try and get loads of people to do the big S means that the plan's going to be knackered and scuppered. No, it's not. It causes ripples, but we can put them right, they said. So there you are. What do you think of that? I'd like to know your comments in the comments. I love you all, and I'll speak to you all later. Bye-bye.